What's going on, you guys? It's Ginger on Wheels here. I'm out on the Emove Cruiser version 2. The scooter is fully charged. Despite this thing saying 94%, it actually drops really quickly off a full charge. But I rode about a couple hundred meters with the scooter in eco mode. I just now put it in speed mode 3. We have got the Draggy speed measuring chip, which if you don't know anything about it, I've linked it in the description below. It is extremely accurate. So we're gonna see how it compares to the scooter display and also what the top speed is and how fast we get there. I'm 227 pounds with my gear, so let's get ready to roll. 1, 2, 3, go. It's also probably worth mentioning that the ambient temperature right now is about 82 degrees. Pretty quick up to 20 miles per hour. It looks like the speedometer on the scooter is about 2 miles per hour generous. I know the ESG tested top speed was, I think, 31.5 or 32, but he also weighs 165 pounds. So me being 225-ish pounds, you can kind of do the math and see what the difference in speed might be for you. It looks like for us, it's 25 miles per hour. What if I crouch down? We give it some extra time. I also noticed on the ESG speed test that he probably had like a quarter-mile runway to get that speed test done. So if we can make this light, we can also make that happen. There we go. Good timing. It does slowly get up to speed. Looks like we're at 28, 29 miles an hour with the crouch. Let's keep it crouched. This scooter is at such a great price point. It's impossible to find a scooter with this much range and this much girth and stability for under 1,500 bucks. You can check these out at Voro Motors. There's a coupon code in the description as well as an affiliate link. You can help support the channel by buying your scooter through that link. It does go pretty quick though. It just takes a really long time to get there. See if we can make this corner at max speed. Oh, okay, good tires. All right, let's check out the speed numbers, shall we? Whew. All right, that test right there, 90 seconds of full throttle, brought our battery from 93 or 94 on the display down to 89, for what it's worth. And it looks like our top speed was 33 miles per hour, but it took almost 90 seconds to get there. Wild. So starting from the beginning here, it takes about 5.78 seconds for me to get to 15 miles per hour, 9 seconds to get to 20 miles per hour. We did 1/8 of a mile in 23 seconds, 60 seconds up to 30 miles per hour. And you can see after about 29 miles per hour, well, there's a huge gap in time between 25 and 26 miles per hour. And then also another big gap in time between 29 and 30 miles per hour. It almost took 20 seconds to make that extra 1 mile per hour happen. And it takes another extra 20 seconds to get it up to 33, which was the top speed. So I'm guessing that ESG was going into a headwind. The scooter is very quick though. I'm actually surprised. I thought the top speed was going to be closer to like 27 maybe, but she goes. That's awesome. I suppose I'll screenshot that so I can post it online in places. Maybe show my Patreons a day early. If you want to join the Patreon, I'll put that link in the description too. Actually, it's in my link tree, which is always in the description. Oh, we got some front brake rubbing. Can you hear it? Sounds like jingle bells. That wasn't there before. These brakes are extra finicky. I spent about 45 minutes dinking with the rear brake to get it not to rub. And I tried a little bit with the front brake, but still rubbing a bit. And this is not gonna be my full review video. This is just a top speed test and you're getting some bonus here. I'm gonna talk about a few things just right out of the gate that I love about the scooter and things that I don't like about the scooter. In case you see on the odometer here, it's got 9.6 miles on it. And that is because I did like an 8.5 mile ride the other night. I couldn't contain myself. I didn't film it. I just charged it up to full and hopped on and rode around in the dark. The headlight, pretty dang good. Not the best in the world, but for a stock headlight, it's much better than the Emove Cruiser with the headlight that was really low to the ground. Did not like that headlight at all. The brakes work pretty well. They're a little mushy though. They're nowhere near full hydraulic brakes. I know a couple other scooter channels have said that you get like the best of both worlds with the brakes, where they feel hydraulic, but they have the low maintenance of the cable actuated brakes. It really does feel middle of the road. It feels middle ground. They're not cable actuated all the way like something like the Kukirin G2 Master, but they're definitely, they don't have the stopping power and modulation of full hydraulic brakes. Let's just get that out of the way right now. Also, I don't know if this is a glitch on my scooter or if this happens on every Emove Cruiser, but you can see we're in speed mode 3. We're cruising full throttle on this very bumpy trail. The suspension has no rebound damping at all, so it makes a knocking noise when it comes back to full. I hope you can hear that. I'll crouch down. Yeah, that's the suspension. It is very plush when you're bouncing on it, but it's just got no rebound damping, so it makes for a pretty bouncy ride. But also, if I let off the throttle, and now the scooter's cruising, and I slowly put my finger back on the throttle, there's a brief moment of time where the scooter will actually be slowing down. It feels like the controller is trying to catch up with how fast the scooter's going. And it will slow down real quick and then start accelerating. And if you're not ready for that little tiny surge of power, it's pretty concerning. Other than that though, very smooth. Like when you actually are accelerating, it's a very smooth throttle. And the motor is more or less dead quiet. The deck is enormous. I find myself in my typical stance, which is something like this, but you really can just stand on it like this and it's not even a problem. Weird. The brake scrape is worse when I turn right. No scrape, scrapey. No scrape, scrapey. So that means something is flexing and bending as I ride. Let's see if we can fix that. That's really bugging me. I'm gonna bust out my Allen wrenches real quick and see if I can dink with it just a little bit to make it stop scraping like that. I also have, after 10 miles, a little bit of a clicking noise coming from the handlebars somewhere. Gonna have to tighten up all my screws in here. It might also be this screw right here, or these two. Maybe these are loose, I don't know, but there's a definite clicking noise in the stem when I wiggle back and forth. I just spent about 15 minutes dinking with the brakes, but that's as close as it's gonna get. These brakes are especially finicky to deal with. There's very little clearance between the rotor and the brake pads. And the semi-hydraulic brakes, you can push the caliper back and forth when the screws are loose, but the brake pads don't actually move. Okay, so in dual piston hydraulic brakes, there's supposed to be 2 pistons and they mash together to smush the brake pads. In this brake, there's 1 piston that moves like this. So this piston is constantly pushing the brake pad over towards this side of the brake caliper. You can move the actual caliper and the brake pads stay in the same spot because the pistons, the natural position of them being closed is so close together. As much as I'm complaining about the brakes here, there are a lot of things to like about this scooter. Like the fact that you can get 40 real world miles of range on this thing for under 1,500 bucks. That's pretty astonishing, I'm not gonna lie. It's got the 1,000-watt motor. It's got a little more hill climbing power than the Emove Cruiser that I tested back in the day. And them speed numbers are no joke. Like 32, 33 miles per hour, the actual advertised speed. Pretty crazy. For a long time on the advertising material for this scooter, it said there was 150 millimeter suspension and that you can replace it with any 150 millimeter shock. But I measured it myself. It's 125 millimeters. I told the owner at Voro Motors, and he's going to be changing the website material and all the marketing material to reflect that. And I went browsing around online to see if there was any upgraded suspension I could get. And there appears to be a couple other types, but it's hard to say how much better or worse they'll be than the stock suspension that's already on there. I don't think any of them have rebound damping. I can't believe I'm actually going 29 miles per hour just standing, not even crouched. Granted, I'll probably only get like 25 miles of range doing that, but it's still very impressive. And the amount of real estate I have on the deck, it amounts to a very comfortable scooter. The handlebars are also very wide and they get insanely tall, so you could probably ride this thing comfortably even if you're like 6'5". I'm not exaggerating that either. Your body will be acting like a big sail against the wind though, so your top speed will be lower, but if you're a tall rider and you're looking for something cheap and practical, this would be an excellent choice, probably the best choice. I'm gonna rename this scooter the Practicality Machine, because dollar for dollar, you're gonna be extremely hard pressed if it's gonna even be possible to find a scooter that's more practical. It fits very well, it's ergonomically shaped, it's got the nice little palm flare outs on the handlebars, the controls and stuff are very intuitive, straightforward, and it just has a massive battery. It's a 52 volt, 30 amp hour LG M50 LT battery. M50 LT is the type of cells that are in there, FYI. The stem is very easy to adjust, just like this. Boom, boom, bing, bang, boom. Just like that. Goes very low, and it also has the industry tallest stem. Like, it's literally up to my nipples. That's crazy. I'm 6'2" also. Can I say nipples? I feel like I could probably say nipples. Nipples. If YouTube demonetizes me, I'm gonna be upset. Oh, the bars are actually taller than they were before. I adjusted them accidentally. This is the first scooter I've ridden where you can adjust the bars to a setting that I would consider to be too tall for me. Go down this little off-roady trail. We do have some nice tubeless tires on here. They're 10 inches. Combined with the suspension, makes for a pretty squishy ride off-road. Not the worst I've ever felt. And despite it only being a single motor scooter, it actually does have some get up and go on the off-road. My Kukirin G4 did not have that, and it makes you think, like, specs on paper aren't everything. It comes down to how well the electronics and everything are paired together and implemented in practice. The scooter is significantly heavier than the old Emove Cruiser that I reviewed. It's like 20 pounds heavier, but what you get as a result of that is a much more robust folding mechanism area and collar piece. The piece of the scooter that actually attaches to the deck, call that what you will, but it feels very thick, reinforced, nice aluminum. We have these heavier duty, non-foldable bars, these bars on the top. You can also make it very small profile with the original Emove Cruiser. The bars folded down like this on the original Emove, and you could like very easily just lean it up against the wall and it wouldn't be sticking out this far, you know, for people to walk by if you want to bring it into your office or into the doctor's or something like that. Or even just put it in your car if you're looking to save a little room. These bars do not fold down to the sides. I did hear though that they're going to be making folding bars for this thing, and if they do come out with that, I'm going to definitely cop a pair, because personally that was one of the best things about the Emove Cruiser, the old version that I liked, the portability factor. It has a ton of real estate on the deck, but with the bars that slid down and then folded down to the sides, it was just so compact when I needed it to be. I don't know if you've seen my living room, but being compact is a nice feature to have for me. Like I said, this is not my full official review of this scooter. That's going to be a much more intense, well-produced video. This was just sort of my first ride on it. I wanted to show you how fast it actually goes, because very impressive top speed. About 5 miles per hour faster than I was actually expecting. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel if you want to catch the whole entire review, but I hope this was a nice little glimpse around the scooter. You got to know some things that I like and don't like about it. Very comfortable, surprisingly powerful motor, ergonomic, practical, insane range, adjustable bars. Suspension really not half bad, but the suspension does have no rebound. The brakes are very hard to adjust. My folding mechanism already is going when I wiggle it back and forth. And the throttle does that weird jerking thing I was talking about, where if I let off the throttle right now and then push it again, for a very brief second, the scooter slows down and then speeds up. I can't tell if I'm doing a very good job describing that or not, but it's hard to describe. I also like how quiet the thing is. Aside from the brakes, which I'm pretty sure I'm gonna wear down the front brake pads so quickly that scraping won't be an issue for long. The front tire does have grip. I was able to go around that corner back there when I was top speed testing at full speed, and it didn't bounce around and jump like the Ultron X3 Pro. That scooter had the worst handling around corners I've ever felt. Very nice tread on the tires too. I think I'll add that to the list of pros. It's good at off-road and on-road, and I can tell it already it'll be good in the wet. That's another thing I like about the scooter. It's IP water resistance rated, probably just as much as the old Emove Cruiser, which means I'm gonna be riding this thing around in the rain for sure. If you watch my rain videos, by the way, you saw me just completely submerge the InMotion RS Hyper Scooter. I'm gonna be doing a teardown video on that scooter soon, so subscribe to the channel, make sure to hit the bell button and you can get notified when I come out with that video. But we're gonna open up the deck and see after 4 or 5 weeks if the scooter is all rusty inside, or if things are melted together, or if it just looks as clean as it did on day one. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble. I have a habit of doing that. So I'm gonna ride home, quickly edit this video up, and hopefully get it out by Sunday. If it's Monday now when you're seeing this, apologies, but I'm a very busy guy. I gotta go to Seattle right now and get some 3D printed bushings for the Wolf Warrior suspension kits that I sell on PEVoutlet.com. Out of stock again. I did hear through the grapevine that Voro Motors is running low on stock of these things for their first batch already, which is pretty crazy. But if you found anything in this video useful, or you just want to be sure that you're gonna get one this summer, I would go ahead and buy it from Voro Motors now before they go out of stock. This thing will get you around a busy city faster than a car, and you'll also be able to let them know that you're coming. If you're as surprised as me about the actual top speed of the scooter, drop a comment down in the comments section. Let us know how fast you thought it was gonna go. Anyways, I'll see you guys for the next video. Thanks for watching. If you wanna do me a solid, share this video around with your friends, and I'll catch you guys all for the next video.